available in your tools menu of your account under the keyword planner. So you can access it directly from there, and it's a great way for you to start strategizing a display campaign. Okay. Similar to the keyword planner, the display planner can also give you estimates. It can also help you come up with a certain budget plan for your display campaigns. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about the different ad formats that you can use on the display network, right? So on search network, primarily, what the major way that you can actually show your ads, the chief method of showing your ads is in the standard text format or in the expanded text ad format. Very soon, standard text ads are going to get removed. Only expanded text ads are going to get used, right? But on the display network, there are additional ad formats that you can use to target your audiences. We're also going to talk about a little tool called Ad Gallery. The Ad Gallery is a tool which helps you set up your ads on the display network, right? So that's another tool that we're going to quickly look at. And finally, we're going to close today's discussion by talking about conversion. So that's going to be our focus for today. That's our agenda for today. So let's start off with the Google Display Network. Okay. All right. So what exactly is the Google Display Network? Now, before we get into that, I'm going to first show you a few numbers, right? So here is a slide which talks about what is happening in India. Okay. In India, people who are on the internet, now unofficial numbers put the number of Indians who are actively on the internet to 350 million people. Now that's a huge number, 350 million people online in our country. Okay, how much time are these people spending on an average on the internet? They are spending roughly more than 5 hours on the internet. Saida, I'm attending class today, but I heard recordings. I got a question. Can I ask you? Sure, go ahead. I'm going to continue talking about what I'm talking about, and once I'm done talking about that, I'll answer your question. Cool. So Indians on an average are spending a little over 5 hours on the internet every single day. Out of that entire time that they're spending online on the internet, 40% of that time is spent on mobile phones, right? So on smartphones or any mobile device which is internet enabled, data enabled. And all the transactions that are happening on the internet by Indians, 65% of those transactions are beginning on a cell phone, which means that let's say that you are going to buy black colored fur boots, for instance. Winter's coming up, so you've decided that you're going to buy some fur boots and they look pretty classy and you want black ones. Okay, so it's possible that you may end up actually making the transaction on your laptop or on your tablet. But the beginning, 65% of the times, the beginning will happen on a mobile device. So you might start looking for that object on a mobile device while you're commuting or while you're out with friends or while you've gone out with family or you're in a movie hall or whatever, right? So quick question, how many of you guys have bought products, no matter where you have bought products, but you started looking for the product or started researching the product for the very first time on your mobile devices? Does that happen when you travel? Yeah. So when you're commuting, you might say, okay, I want to buy that. Now that I'm sitting in the metro, in any case, let me quickly see kahan pe it is available. Where all can I buy it, right? Where can I get a good deal? Where can I get a coupon? Is there like an exchange offer? Is there like a Diwali sale thing happening, which is coming up soon or whatever, right? So a lot of us do that. We may actually do the transaction on desktops or tablets or even on mobile phones. But all the transactions that are happening in India, 65% of those transactions are beginning their journeys on a mobile device. Now, this is big as far as mobile usage is concerned in our country. So this is overall data for all the Indians, right, who are on the internet. Now, let's look at you specifically, right? Specifically, you, when you spend time on the internet, let's break up that time. So out of the 100% time, which is a little over 5 hours on an average, when you spend time on the internet, 79% of the time you are just browsing content, you are consuming content, right? But 21% of the time you are doing a search. So out of the entire time that you're spending online, 21% is spent on searching for information or products or services, right? and 79% of your time you are spending in consuming the information that you have found, right? So it's, when you're looking for a video, it comes under the 21% of the time. But when you're consuming the video, when you're watching the video, then that comes under the 79% bracket, right? So this is how your time is broken down. Now, this is important. These numbers are important. Why? Because search campaigns, when you're targeting an AdWords campaign to the search network, people are looking, they are in this 21% bracket. But what about the 79%? This is a very big chunk, right? And you can't ignore this chunk technically. And this chunk is all on the internet. So what are people doing when they're not searching? They're consuming content. How are they consuming content? They may be checking apps on their smartphones. They may be watching YouTube videos. They may be shopping. They may be paying bills. They may be playing games on their tablets and so on, right? So people who are not actively searching for information are actually doing all these other things, right? So, all right, now before I go ahead, two questions have come in. So let me just quickly go through those questions. Saida is asking, we added keywords from the ad group suggested by Keyword Planner. Then we downloaded the Excel sheet, taken average and made it our average bid, and then made the average budget of the day. Remember, we did the second session. How my question is, it has so many keywords, and you advise then what should we do with so many keywords? Should we delete the keyword? If yes, then we will have to do average bid and daily budget thing again. Not necessarily. Saida, if you remember, I had also said that all of these numbers that the Keyword Planner is giving you, including the search volumes and the suggested bids, are overall averages of the entire industry in your picked location. If you've picked, let's say, India, for instance, it's giving you numbers from India over the last 12 months. It's drawn an overall average of that number. So in any case, you're working with estimates. So if you would like, you can always break it down further into smaller ad groups and then upload that into the Keyword Planner, right? So you can copy paste let's say you've created one ad group, it has got 15 keywords. You can put that into the Keyword Planner and then upload it and see what the Keyword Planner tells you in terms of bids for each and every one of those keywords. You can do that. But I personally find that it's a complete waste of time. I would rather work with overall averages, and that's good enough. Regardless of whatever you put, once your ads go live, you start getting an idea of what your actual CPCs are like, because AdWords shows you the overall average CPCs, right? So then you can make a call. So in case your bid, you have put a max CPC bid of 20 rupees. And then later on, once you start getting clicks and all on your ad after 3 to 4 days, then you go back again and you check and you run a report. You might see that you're getting your clicks at, I don't know, maybe 11 rupees or something. So then you can decrease your max CPC bid and make it 15, right? So AdWords is not a full and final process. AdWords is a constantly evolving idea. It's a constantly evolving activity for you also. Every search marketing professional, their job is not only to create a campaign, put it up in the account and forget about it. You have to keep checking again and again, run reports and see how you're doing, and accordingly make small changes. Like you can decrease the max CPC or you can increase it if you feel that your max CPC, let's say your max CPC is 20 rupees and your clicks are all coming for 18, 19 rupees. So it's coming too close to your max CPC, which means that, you might miss out on opportunities where a few paise it increases and it exceeds your max CPC, then you can increase your max CPC. So it's completely down to your, intuition and intelligence also. The Keyword Planner is not God. The Keyword Planner is just an indicator. Use it as a reference point. It's there so that you can have some sort of a reference point. It's not there to tell you what to do. It's there to only give you an indication, okay, this much is how we are kind of getting from the numbers that we have seen. So you can base it on this, but obviously changes will happen once your ads go live. Bhushan, Abhijit, Sarthak. Okay, those are 3 names. I hope you are the same guy though. Yeah, Saida, not a problem. Okay, just one sec, guys. Okay, Abhijit, why are 2 more names showing with you, man? There's one Bhushan and there's a Sarthak also in your name. Alright, wait, forget that. Let me answer your question. When marketing or targeting, will it make a difference? Is a consumer experience on mobile or desktop? Obviously, it will make a difference. For example, if your website is not mobile responsive, then your user is going to have a horrifying experience on mobile, right? We will be talking a little bit more about mobile in the 4th session, not in today's session so much. The way people transact on a mobile or the way they look at a mobile experience is very different from the way they look at a desktop experience. So you have to make sure that you're customizing that experience for your users, no matter what, whether it's search network or whether it's display network ads, whichever, right? We'll get into that, don't worry about it. But yeah, there's a significant difference in the two things. Okay, so coming back to what we were talking about, right? So when you're not actively searching, you're consuming content. You're consuming content either via applications or via websites, videos, shopping, instant messaging, emailing, all of these 100,000 things. And these are happening on different devices. It could be on smartphones, on tablets, on desktops, on laptops, on whatever, right? All these different devices. The platform has changed. The audience has not become irrelevant. As a business person, as an advertiser, you still want to reach the same target audience even if they are not searching for you. Correct? Does that make sense? See, if you can show your ads only to them in the 21% time, then that's not good enough, right? 79% of the time that you are missing out on, how do you reach that audience? How do you make sure that you're reaching your target audience even when they are not searching for you, right? So that's also important for you to think about as a business professional, as an advertising expert, right? So the goal has not changed. You still have to reach the right audience. You still have to reach them at scale, and you still have to reach them at a cost that you can afford. So those things have not changed at all, right? Now that's where the display network comes in. So the display network occupies that 79% bracket when people are not searching. What is a display network? Display network consists of a big group of websites and applications and videos, right? So three things essentially. Let's go and write these down, right? So the display network occupies the, oh God, 1 second, my keyboard is acting a little weird today. Occupies the 79% bracket when audiences are not actively searching for anything but are consuming content, right? The display network also consists, therefore, a big group of websites, apps, and videos. Also maybe video channels, right? Because on YouTube there are video channels, right? So those entire channels can be part of the whole. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. 79%. I have a new keyboard. I'm still getting used to it. All right, cool. So it consists of a big group of websites, apps, videos, video channels, right? Now, what are these websites, apps, and video channels? They are either owned by Google, for example, YouTube, which is, well, one of the largest video channels on the planet. Then there's Gmail, right? Then there's the Blogger network. Then there is Google Finance, right? So these are all owned by Google, and the Google AdSense network. Now, I'm not going to pick a reading list, okay? So I'm assuming that you guys already know about this. So together, these two properties, these two types of properties form the Google Display Network. Now, this whole network, it exists across multiple devices. So all the devices that we have spoken about so far, those devices will be able to access the Google Display Network easily. And the ads can show in various different formats on the display network. Ads can show in the format of, let's look at it. Ads can show as, 1 second, right, as text ads. You can see text ads on the display network. You can see image ads. On image ads, you will see static ads. You will also see sometimes flash ads, HTML5 ads, right? Animated GIFs. Okay. Then there is something called rich media ads. Okay, we'll talk about these in a bit. And then there is obviously video ads. Okay. Then there is responsive ads. We'll talk about all of these. Okay, so ads can be in multiple different formats on the display network. These are some of them. Cool. Now, what about the display network as far as Google is concerned? These are a few numbers that you have to kind of, notice, not necessarily remember, but the reason we are even talking about this slide is to understand just how far reaching is the display network. What is the reach and relevance of the display network? So the Google Display Network has a 95% reach globally on desktops, right? 82.7% reach on mobile phones, and it's #1 on mobile. 94.5% reach on multi-platform, right? Matched content ad format, it comes with AdSense. Tuhin, I will not be able to comment on anything related to AdSense other than what is AdSense, because I'm not an AdSense expert, so I don't really know about that. Okay. All right. Now, how do ads show across the Google Display Network? So look at this. This is an example of the same ad showing across multiple devices. Now, why is this important? Because users are not using only one device. As users, you are using multiple different devices, right? You are using maybe a desktop at work. It's possible that you have a laptop that you have at home. Maybe you carry your laptop to work. Sometimes some of us have work laptops. It's possible that the whole family has one tablet at home, right? Or maybe you have an individual tablet or an e-reader which is connected to the internet, right? You might have phablets. Some of us might have feature phones, right? So this is important for us to know, because one important thing that you can do across the display network is target your users across devices, right? So this is becoming very important in a scenario where our journeys are beginning on one device but ending on another device, correct? So all of you might start looking for a certain, let's say, product or a service, maybe let's say on a tablet or on a phablet, but it's possible that you might actually do the transaction either on a desktop or a laptop, or some of us might do it even on the cell phone, or we might do it on the tablet, right? So it changes for each and every one of us, correct? So it becomes very important for Google to be able to give you this kind of data where you're able to target your users across devices no matter where they are and follow their journey across multiple devices. Okay, cool. So this was basically the display network and its core definition for all of you. Now let's get into how does targeting work on the display network. So how exactly does targeting work? Now essentially there are 5 major ways of targeting your audiences on the display network. Okay, this is over and above the ones that we have already discussed. So let's go back to our document and write down targeting. So you already know that you can target people on the basis of location. You know that you can target people on the basis of language. You know that you can target people on the basis of time. Okay. What else is there on the display network other than what the search network offers, right? So these are things that the search network also offers, but what exactly does display network offer, right? So let's look at targeting within display. Now the very first is called contextual targeting. Okay, now contextual targeting can be done in 2 ways. One is called doing it via keywords and the other is doing it via topics. Okay, so that's the very first type of targeting. It's called contextual targeting. The second is called placement targeting. Okay, placement, what is a placement? A placement is defined as a website, a part of a website, a location on the website. It could be an application, it could be a video, it could be a video channel. So any specific place which is a part of the Google Display Network can be a placement. Okay, so this placement targeting. The next one is called interest category matching. Okay, where you target people on the basis of their interests. There are 2 types within this. We'll talk about it once we get to that whole place. Then there is another type called remarketing. And then the final type is called demographic targeting. Okay, so these are the major types of targeting on the display network. So contextual targeting via keywords and topics, placement targeting, interest category matching, which itself has two other types under it. Then there's remarketing, and then there is demographics. Okay, so now we're going to look into each and every one of these individually. All right, so the very first one is contextual targeting. Now, what is contextual targeting? In contextual targeting, there is a context. There is a relationship between the content of the website and the ad that is showing on that website. Okay, so let's say you are using keywords like this. So these are your keywords. You are saying dog food, food for dogs, pet food, branded dog food. So these are the kind of keywords you are using in your. Anuj, I'll come to that. I have not yet reached the section of ad formats. So once I reach the section of ad formats, then I'll talk about what responsive ads are. Okay, we'll get to that. All right, don't worry, I'll get there. Okay, so these are the keywords that you're using in your campaign. So let's say you have a campaign, it is targeted to the display network, and in that campaign, you have some ad groups. One of the ad groups is about dog food. Okay, so what happens when you have all of these keywords? Answer one question to me, for me. Is anybody searching on the display network? Searching is happening in the 21% bracket of their time. So, and display is part of that 79% bracket where people are consuming content. So technically, is anybody searching for anything on the display network once they have reached the display network? Anshul says no. What about the rest of you guys? Right. So correct, you're right. Nobody is looking for anything on the display network. People have already reached the place that they wanted to be in, and now they are consuming content. So they might be reading a blog, they might be looking at a video, they might be chatting with somebody, they might be sending emails or whatever, right? Cool. So now, if you have all of these keywords in your ad group, people are not technically looking for these ads, for these keywords, right? But they can search within, yeah, of course, they can search within that. So see, if you're searching within a blog, you think you will end up seeing ads. Blogs are not technically part of the search network, right? Are they a part of the search network, blogs? Right. Blogs are a part of the display network. Yes, we can see AdSense provides search ads also. Right. Great. So that's great. That's great. Then your blog is probably part of the search partners network. But I'm talking about something entirely different. I am saying that when you have found the content that you're looking for, are you still searching? Not necessarily. You might look for specific content within that page. But I'm asking you, when you are on a website and you're reading an article, are you simultaneously searching or are you reading? Is there a difference between the two? There is a difference between the two. Correct. So when you are looking at a website and you're reading an article or you're reading a post, then you are consuming content. If you're looking at a video, then you're watching that video, right? Or if you're playing a certain game in your application or something, maybe you're playing, I don't know, Angry Birds or something like that. You are playing a game. That's it, full stop, right? So what's the point of all of these keywords? Nobody is looking for anything on the display network. So why do we have keywords in a contextual display campaign? The reason we have these keywords is because in a display campaign, which is contextually targeted, let's say using keywords, you can provide AdWords with a list of keywords. And what will AdWords do? It will match this list to the content of a website from your targeted location. And if there is a match between the two topics, so look at this, this is all about dog food, right? So Google is going to look at all of these different keywords and they're going to basically decide, okay, this person is interested in content related to dog food. So let me show their ads on websites where dog food is being discussed, where people are talking about dog food, where there is an article about dog food, or inside a video where there is, it's about dogs or it's about dog food or about nutrition for dogs, etc. Is this making sense? So there is a certain context. So Google AdWords is trying to match the theme of your keywords to the theme of the website, and if there is a match, then your ads will be shown on those web pages or on those apps, videos or video channels. Is that making sense, guys? So there is a context. Where does this get displayed? Why don't you answer that question? Can anybody answer Monica's question? Where does this get displayed? I've just spent whole minutes talking about this whole thing. I've been telling you what is a display network. In the browsers, between the text, exactly. On the Google networks. Okay, all right. Okay, you logged in late. All right, no problem. Okay. So just to kind of wrap, where will these ads show? These ads will show on the display network. What is a display network? It could be websites, it could be applications, videos, video channels, all of these different places, right? Great. So if you are, let's take an example in that case, with contextual targeting. Let's say there is a website about, let's say, recipes. And on that website, if you see ads on cookware or let's say kitchen appliances, can you safely kind of say that there was a contextual match between the content of the website and the ads? Right? Perfect. Right? So on Sanjeev Kapoor's website, you might see ads related to cooking appliances, kitchen appliances, or you might see recipe books or cookbooks and stuff like that. So if I have a furniture shop, it can be displayed on websites such as IKEA. If IKEA is part of the display network, yes. If it is not part of the display network, then no. Okay? So that's how it is. All right. Okay. So that is contextual targeting, and that is via keywords. Do we get a list of these websites available on Google? You can't get an exhaustive list, but if you have a certain plan that, okay, this is my product and I want to target it via contextual targeting, what kind of websites can I put my ads on? Then you can go to this tool called Display Planner and create an entire display strategy plan, and accordingly see what all different websites are suggested to you, what all different apps are suggested to you. Is that okay? We'll look into that once we get into the Display Planner. Okay? All right, so that's contextual targeting via keywords. Then there is topics. Okay? So what is topics? Now in the first part, in contextual targeting, you can do it via keywords, but then some people feel that, okay, you know, creating this big list of keywords, you know, one for dog foods and maybe one for pet food, one for cat food, one for fish food, one for God knows what other food, right? It's a lot of time and effort. I don't have so much time and, you know, I don't want to do this. So there's a shorter, simpler, quicker way of doing it. So you want to do contextual targeting, but this time instead of using keywords, you decide to use topics. So in your AdWords account, if you go into the display targeting section of your AdWords account, they will give you an option of topic targeting. So when you click on topics, what will you see? You will see all these different kinds of topics. So you can go under pets and animals, and under pets and animals, you can go under animal products and services. Then under that, you will find animal food. Under that, you will find dog food, pet food, ye food, that food, whatever. So you can just directly select that topic if you wish to. Is that making sense? This is quicker and it is shorter. So this is basically like a replacement to sitting and picking lists of keywords. You're just picking the subtopic, and what Google will do is it will match the subtopic with the theme of the website. If there is a match, then they will show. Is this making sense, guys? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay. So in that case, you understand how contextual targeting works. There has to be a match between either the keyword themes or the topics along with the website or the app or the video channel or whatever it is that you want to show your ads on, right? Whichever. Great. So that was contextual targeting. The next one is called placement targeting. Now, what is placement targeting? In placement targeting, you as an advertiser are saying that I want to show my ads only on specific places. I only want to show them on these few websites and on these few applications. That's it. You don't necessarily need to have a specific logic behind why you are picking those websites or those applications, but you have decided that this is my strategy. I feel that those websites are important for me, so I want to show my ads on those websites. So you are making a very specific demand and saying this is where I want to show my ads. That becomes placement targeting. Is this making sense, the definition? Okay. All right. So let's write this down, right? So placement targeting, what's happening with placement targeting is you are making a specific demand about where you wished to show your ads, and you are prepared to pay a certain amount of bid, a certain amount of bid. It could be CPC, it could be CPM, whatever different bidding type you have selected, doesn't matter. Whatever bidding type you have selected, you are saying that on, let's say, ndtv.com, you want to show your ad on ndtv.com. So you are saying that, hey, I want to show my ad on ndtv.com, and because I have a very specific demand and ndtv.com is the only place where I want to show my ad, for that particular placement, I am prepared to pay 50 rupees as a CPC bid. Okay, that's my max CPC. Or you say, no, I want to be a little more aggressive, 100 rupees is what I want to pay. Okay, so you are making a very specific demand and you're prepared to pay specifically for that particular placement. So you bid specifically on that particular placement. Okay, so that becomes placement targeting. Can you also bid on, let's say, a specific location within the website? Yes, you can. A specific a part of the website? Yes, you can. A specific application? Yes, you can. Video? Yes. Video channel? Yes. Okay. So it does not have quality score? Of course not. It has a quality score. Quality never goes out of fashion. Quality is always going to be very, very important. Okay. But remember, this is the display network, right? So display network works in a slightly different way compared to the search network. Quality score is still prevalent, but the factors kind of change a little. In the display network, there are two major components that decide who is going to win the auction and be able to show their ads. The first component is always the bid. If your bids are high, then you are in the game. Second is quality score. Quality score is very, very dependent in this situation on what? On your landing page quality. Okay, because remember, this is the display network. On display network, nobody is searching for you, right? So since nobody is searching for you, you can't create a relevance factor between a keyword and an ad and a landing page. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say? Since nobody is searching for you, there is technically no keyword. Since there is technically no keyword as such, keyword, ad, and landing page relevance is not created very successfully. Okay. Also, because this happens, a lot of the quality score depends very heavily on your landing page quality and on your bid. So if your bids are high and your landing page quality is superb, and also if you are bidding, let's say, on CPC, then in that case, your CTR is high, right? So if you're bidding on CPC, then you want clicks. If you want clicks, then people, once they click on your ad, you will get a CTR, right? So CTR becomes an important factor if you're using CPC bid. But what if you're using CPM bid? You are not interested in clicks and all. You just want people to see your ads. Then impressions becomes an important thing, viewable impressions, right? So if you have more and more viewable impressions, that's a good thing, right? Then that will get counted into how well your ads are performing. Okay, so it all depends on your bidding technique, it depends on your bid, it depends on your landing page quality score. In display network, we can have a test and display ad. What is a test? I don't know what a test is. Saida, I don't know. Oh, okay, text. Okay, all right. Sorry. Yes, you can have a text ad as well. No problem. Of course, you can. And you can have a display ad. We don't call it a display ad. We call it an image ad. But yeah, yes, you can. If yes, which one is more preferred than the other? There is no such thing as this is more preferred or that is more preferred. What is important is if your ad shows or not. If it shows, then well, I mean, you know, that's preferred, I guess. Whichever one is showing more, whichever one is able to achieve more of your marketing goal, that's important. Google doesn't give a specific preference to any particular type as such. It all comes down to your bidding, what is working for you, which one is helping you. Can publisher deny the placements of that specific ad in his website? Publisher can say that I only accept certain formats. Publisher can say I will only run text ads, I will only run video ads, or I can run both text and video. Publisher can say I'm only going to show these sizes, I'm not going to show other sizes, right? Publisher can also say that I don't want to show as related to this in this topic or whatever. You can do stuff like that. As a publisher, you have a certain amount of control. Yes, but you don't have 100% control either. Okay. So yeah, that's the answer, so to say, to your question. Okay. Cool. So that is placement targeting. Now, another aspect of placement targeting is, remember how we said that placement targeting is, well, if you really want to show your ad on a specific website or on a certain video or video channel, then you can tell Google that, okay, this is the video channel on which I want to show my ads, and that's it. You can also select a list. It doesn't have to be only one thing. You can select 5 websites and say that these are the 5 websites on which I want to show my ads, and I'm ready to bid specifically on each and every one of these websites that I have selected, right? You can do that. Now, this need not be based on logic. The websites that you have selected or the applications that you have selected need not necessarily be based on logic all the time. You can go and just make a demand if that's what works for you. But it can also be based on logic if you want that to be important for you, right? Publisher can have control over the ads, yes. Not individual ads. Publisher can have control over the ad sizes, ad formats, etc. Okay, coming back to what we were talking about. Right, so here's the thing. Let's write this down. Let's say you have been running a display contextual campaign for 1 month. Okay. So you've been running a display contextual campaign for 1 month. So Google has been looking at your keyword themes or your topics or whatever, and then matching it to the content of different websites and apps and etc., and then showing your ads on those particular places wherever there is a match. So after 1 month, when you run a report, you see a report called placements report. Okay. So in this placements report, you know what they show? They show all the websites, apps, channels, etc., where your ad was displayed by Google. Okay. So far, is this making sense? What I have written so far, is this making sense to all of you? You are running a report after 1 month and Google is showing you all the different places where your ad was shown, right? And how did Google come up with this list? It came up with that list because it knows where all it showed your ad. And on what basis did it show those ads? On the basis of your contextual keywords or topics or whatever it is. Okay, great. So after you run this report, you realize that some websites have given you a lot of clicks and also some conversions. Okay, so you realize that some websites have given you a lot of clicks and some conversions have also happened in the process. You're like, wow, this is amazing. These websites have performed really well for me. Now, why don't I convert these websites into my placement targeted campaign and say I want to specifically bid on these websites? Can I do that also? Is that also one way of finding placements? Yes? Perfect. So you can also get a list of placements for yourself after running a contextual campaign, right? So all the placements, all the different websites where your ad was shown by Google automatically are called automatic placements. Okay. What are automatic placements? Those are the different websites where Google decided your ad should be shown. Why? Because there was a match between your keywords or topics and the theme of that particular page. But later on, when you run a report and you see all of these automatic placements, you say that, oh, there are these 5 placements that are pretty good. And I think I want to do placement targeting on them. I want to target them specifically and bid specifically on them. You can do that also. All right. What do those placements then become? They are called managed placements, because now you are managing them individually and you're bidding separately on them. Each of those placements, you're saying specific bids for each of these placements because they have performed well for me in the past. Making sense? Guys? Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So that was your placement targeting. So far what have we done? We have spoken about contextual, we have spoken about placement targeting. Now let's talk about the next one. Now we are talking about interest category matching. What is interest category matching? Interest category matching is you saying that I want to show my ads to people who are interested in something. And Google says, okay, we have these audiences who are interested in this particular topic, so show your ads to them, no problem. Okay, so instead of coming up with a list of keywords, isn't it similar to contextual? That's well, actually, Louis, why don't you wait for 2 minutes, because I'm not done defining interest category matching. Okay, I'll just come to that. Okay, all right. So interest category matching, what is happening? You are an advertiser. Let's say you are, let's take an example, right? So in interest category matching, you are kind of saying to Google that, hey Google, show my ads to people who are interested in, let's say, fashion and beauty. Okay, and who is this advertiser? Advertiser is, let's say the advertiser is L'Oreal. Okay, oh sorry, that's not the spelling, that's L'Oreal, sorry. So L'Oreal Paris. Okay, so that's the advertiser, and they have told Google that, hey, show my ads to people who are interested in fashion and beauty. Okay, so what does Google do? Google shows ads to people who are interested in fashion and beauty, even if they are on websites, apps, channels that have nothing to do with fashion and beauty. Okay, so let's say Louis is interested in fashion and beauty, correct? So if Louis is interested in fashion and beauty, Biko, I'll come to your question. Just give me a second. Let me finish talking about what I'm saying. You'll realize that a lot of your questions have gotten answered automatically. So just let me finish, and then if you still have questions, then we'll take them. Okay? All right. So let's say Louis is interested in fashion and beauty. So does Louis become L'Oreal's targeted audience? If Louis is interested in fashion and beauty, does she become the targeted audience of L'Oreal? Becomes, right? Okay. So everybody agrees. But currently, Louis is on a website about, let's say, travel. So she's planning a holiday. She's decided that she needs to take a break. She needs to go away on a holiday for a while. And she's currently on a travel website. She's booking some flight tickets, and she's also looking at some resorts and stuff. And L'Oreal is showing her ads about a revolutionary new keratin package for chemically treated hair. Okay, is this making sense? So Louis is on a website about travel. She's currently looking at some holiday resorts. She's booking a flight ticket. But remember, Louis is interested in fashion and beauty, and Google knows that. So even if she's on a travel website, Google is able to show her ads by L'Oreal. Okay, is this making sense in terms of the definition? Is this, yeah? Okay, now how does Google know that Louis is interested in fashion and beauty? So this is Biko's question, right? How does Google know that Louis is interested in fashion and beauty? Okay, past searches, yes, because she has made some purchases or likes a fashion page on FB. No, Google doesn't take any data from Facebook. Technically, Facebook is Google's competitor. Recent searches, well, not really. So they're not technically looking at her searches. You know what Google is looking at? Google is looking at two things. One, let's write it down. One, Google is looking at her historical browsing behavior. Okay, and they are also looking at her specified interests on Google's settings. Okay, all right, so these are the two major ways these are the two major ways that Google knows what Louis is interested in, right? So her historical search behavior, sorry, her historical browsing behavior. So, Google doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to figure out what you're interested in. In 5 minutes, you may have gone to 10 different websites. Okay. And on the basis of that, Google is able to piece together information about what are you interested in. Are you interested in property? Are you interested in social networking? Are you interested in staying connected via email? Are you interested in technology? Are you interested in fashion? Is it beauty? Is it cooking? What is it? Is it sports? Is it cricket? Okay. So on the basis of your historical browsing behavior, so let's say Louis spends almost 6 to 7 hours on the internet every day, right? And technically, she spends a lot of time, let's say, on different websites, and a lot of them are connected to, let's say, technology. But some of them are connected to shopping and fashion. They are connected to beauty. Some of them might be connected to nutrition, right? And on the basis of that, Google is able to tell, okay, Louis is interested in these 10 different things. Okay. So tomorrow, if L'Oreal comes and says, hey, target people who are in India who are interested in fashion and beauty, Louis becomes one of the audiences that L'Oreal will target because she is part of Google's audiences. Is this making sense? And it doesn't matter where she is. As long as she is on the display network, Google can show her ads related to something she is interested in. Okay. See, this is how a lot of supermarkets also work, right? When you say browsing behavior, is it based on data for a particular time period? Not necessarily. Like I said, Sunny, Google can find out what you're interested in less than 5 minutes of spending time on any browser, for that matter, right? See, if you're logged into any Google service, Google is keeping track of your cross-device behavior. So you might be logged in on Google, let's say on Chrome as a browser, you're logged in. So if you're using Chrome as a browser or even Firefox as a browser, and you're logged into any Google service at that time, Google is able to keep track of what kind of content are you browsing, right? So think of the reach of Google's products, right? So it could be Chrome as a browser, it could be Firefox, because Firefox is kind of also hosted, it's open source, and it's very deeply in sync with Google products, right? Then there's Google AdWords, there's Google Maps. You could be using Android as a platform. You could it is powerful stuff. So that's why do you think Google has so many different products, and each and every one of us, even if you're an iPhone user, there are so many Google products that you are signed into at any given point in time. It could be Maps, it could be Gmail, it could be Google Plus, it could be pretty much anything. Isn't that breach of privacy? Well, if you're on the internet, there technically is no such thing as complete privacy. But if you want to get absolutely, you don't want to leave a footprint at all, then you can always use an onion browser, or you can get into the dark web, deep web, whatever, and you can also use incognito browsing, right? So you can protect yourself in all those ways. But if you're on the internet and your information is out there, then there is technically no such thing as privacy. We have to be honest about these things now. This all can be tracked only when we are signed in through Gmail or Google account. What is a Google account, Louis? Any product of Google that you are using, if you're using it as a signed in user, then Google can keep track of your information. That includes Maps, that includes using Android as a device, it includes using Gmail, it includes using Google Finance, it includes using Google Books, Google Play, Google Movies, Google Music. Every single product across the Google universe can keep track of your browsing behavior. Okay. Is it safe to use it by signing in? Of course. Why is it not safe? I mean, see, Google is not technically going to take your information and give it to, I don't know, like a terrorist organization, right? It's only using it so that it can show ads to you. It's as simple as that. If you don't want to see any ads, then you should, well, technically use incognito browser. Even within that, sometimes you will see random ads, because then they're not targeting you as an audience. Then they're targeting the website. Remember, in contextual, it's the website that is being targeted, because the website has a context. There is a certain match the following happening with the content of the website and your keywords as an advertiser. But in interest category, you don't give a damn about the website. You have gone straight to the user. You are saying that, hey, listen, if this person is a part of my audience and my audience is people who like fashion and beauty, then show them the ad. Right? Exactly. It just knows your interest. And less than 5 minutes is all it takes for Google to figure out what kind of things are you interested in. Now, if you clear your cache and cookies, all that data goes, right? But again, you start browsing. Again, you open up your inbox. You open up websites. You see videos. You talk to people. You social network. You do stuff. You search. you come to different posts and articles, you share things, right? So within 5 minutes, instantly Google has started compiling the data all over again. Let's suppose Luby spends 80% of time on tech stuff, 15% of time on travel, and 5% time on fashion while browsing internet. Even then, will she be targeted for fashion? Again, any play of quality score stuff in terms of browsing? Not necessarily. If Google feels that Luby is definitely interested in fashion, even if it is limited, see, Luby might not spend a lot of time reading about the latest fashion and all of that, but Luby might be interested in products that are from the fashion world, right? She might be interested in beauty. She might be interested in cosmetics. So she doesn't know who Masaba Gupta is. And it's possible that she doesn't know who Anita Dongre is. And that doesn't matter because Luby is still buying those products. She's buying, a dress from and she's picked up a jacket from Only. And that's good enough. Is that making sense? Okay. All right, so this was interest category matching. Now within interest category matching, there are two more types. Okay, now what are these types? Let's look at the types. So the very first is called affinity audiences. And the second is called in-market audiences. Okay, all right. Now, what are affinity audiences? Affinity audiences is very simple. Okay, in affinity audiences, okay, we have been saying, we have been taking Luby's example a long time now. So let's take the example of somebody who's not speaking only in the group. Wait, Varsha has been very quiet. So let's talk about Varsha. Okay, so Varsha, that's okay, right? We're going to take you as an example. So Varsha is interested in good strategy. Varsha is interested in, let's say, tennis. Okay. So she's a big fan of Roger Federer. She also kind of likes the Joker, right? Djokovic, and she watches a bunch of matches and she keeps track of what's happening and which US Open and French Open, vagara vagara. Okay. So she keeps track of all of these things. All right. Now Varsha is interested in tennis and Google obviously knows this. Okay. Now, tomorrow, if a brand comes out and this new brand is basically is what example should we take? New brand is let's say it's a sports website. Okay, it's a lot like Cricinfo, but it's for tennis. Okay, so it's like how Cricinfo is completely focused on cricket as a sport. This new brand is a sports website, but it's focused on tennis, right? So they want to do a certain amount of branding. They want to make sure that all the people who are interested in tennis, they should know that this new website has come out and stuff, right? So they can target Varsha. They can say, hey, target all the people who are interested in tennis and show them my ads. So Google will show Varsha the ads as well because Varsha is interested in tennis and Google knows that. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, no nonsense, nothing of that sort. Okay. Cool. So this is a very simple example. So this is an affinity audience. So Varsha is interested in tennis. New brand has come out and they are tennis focused websites. So they want to show ads to people who are interested in tennis so that at least the people who are interested in tennis become aware of it and they start using the website and they can tell their friends, they can post on social, vagara, vagara, right? So a certain amount of branding can be done with that. Okay. So this is basically the example of Varsha for affinity audiences. How is this different from category specific that we spoke of earlier? It's not different at all. It's the same thing, right? I'm only taking a different example so that we can have a fresh perspective. So no, there is no difference. Affinity is a part of interest category matching. It's a type of interest category. So even Luby's example was affinity audience. So Luby was also affinity audience. Varsha is also affinity audience. Okay. Now let's take the example of Monica. Okay, so Monica is not interested in tennis. Okay, Monica is interested in something else. She might be interested in, let's say, maybe squash. Okay, but squash also kind of comes a little, again, it's like achha, fair enough, chalo squash. You're not interested in tennis. Okay, cool. But recently, Monica's best friend has started playing tennis. Okay, So recently, Monica's best friend has started playing tennis, and she's going for coaching, and she's practicing with a ball machine and everything, right? So she's doing all those things. She's also paid for personal coaching and all that. Okay, and her birthday is also coming up. So Monica has decided to buy a tennis racket for her. Okay, so what has Monica decided? I'm going to buy a tennis racket for my best friend who is interested in tennis, and now she's playing tennis and all that. Okay, so Monica starts doing research on the internet on tennis rackets. Okay, so Monica becomes an in-market audience for the category of tennis. So Monica is in the market to make a purchase in the tennis category. Is this making sense so far? Okay. So this is an in-market audience. So Monica becomes an in-market audience. She's not interested in tennis, but she's in the market to make a purchase of a tennis racket. And Google knows the difference between Varsha and Monica. Google knows that Varsha is interested in tennis. Varsha may not necessarily play tennis. She is generally interested in tennis. She likes watching the matches. She likes focusing on what scores, which opens are happening, who won the cup, right? So when a game comes out and they need a certain amount of branding done for, among audiences who are interested in tennis, then Varsha is a great target. But if a brand like Wilson or Head comes out with a new racket and they are interested not in branding, they are interested in making a sale, then who will they target? They will not target Varsha, they will target Monica because she is in the market to make a purchase. Is this making sense? Will in-market audience have a time range? Will Monica see the tennis and after 3-4 days as well? It's possible because see, again, Monica is buying a tennis racket, right? She's not buying a badminton racket. A badminton racket is still very affordable. Tennis racket, you can't get a decent tennis racket for less than 7,000-8,000 bucks, right? So she will not just go and buy the first thing she sees. She will do a certain amount of research. She might spend 1 week looking at different models, comparing, looking for coupons, ye wo, vagara, vagara. Okay. So yes, there is a certain time frame also associated. The way we decide who is affinity and who is in market is also different, right? So Varsha spends a lot of time reading about tennis and what matches are happening. She looks at different websites where she can keep track of scores and who is the world #1 right now, who is going to win who is the favorite for this particular open or whatever, right? But Monica is not going to those websites at all. She doesn't care. But she's going to a lot of shopping related websites where tennis products are available and she's looking at those specific products, right? So she's more product centric. So she is in market audience, right? So this is how primarily the differences are drawn, right? Okay, now as an advertiser, I can also cap the frequency. By the way, this is also something I wanted to tell you guys. In display network, there is an amazing feature in the display campaign called frequency capping. In frequency capping, you can say that, hey, don't show my ad more than so many number of times to one particular user, right? So if Wilson comes out with a new racket and it says that, hey, show my ads 5 times. After 5th time, don't show my ad to Monica. So if she wanted to convert, she would have converted within those 5 impressions. If she has still not converted, then don't waste money on her, move on. Okay, so they can also do frequency capping. But Varsha may also have enrolled for tennis lessons and so is researching and she may buy equipment as well. Yeah, but sorry, Priya. Varsha is not looking at information about tennis rackets. Varsha is reading information about Djokovic and about Nadal and about Federer and about, Maria Sharapova, or she's reading about, I don't know, Sania Mirza and all of these people. She's not looking at products at all. No, she's not a prospect. She's only somebody who's interested. So if you want to do branding, then you will target affinity audiences. But if you want to make a sale, then you will target an in-market audience. That's what the difference is. Even in real estate, somebody who's just randomly interested in real estate and keeps reading about what is the price here, where are the different prospects for investment, what new projects are coming up. So they are just generally interested in real estate. But somebody who wants to buy a 1 BHK, they are not interested in real estate. They don't give a damn what price is where. But they want to buy a house because they want to live in that house. So they are in market. They are not an affinity audience. Is that making sense? So somebody who reads the property section of a website is affinity audience. But an in-market audience is somebody who wants to buy a house. There is a huge difference between those two people. Okay, so this is interest category matching. Okay, and these audiences might be anywhere. Monica might be currently on a website about I don't know, she could be reading about Tarla Dalal's recipe for dal makhani. That's okay. But Monica is in the market to buy a tennis racket. Google knows that. Okay, and Google will therefore allow Wilson to show an ad to Monica on Tarla Dalal's website, as long as Tarla Dalal is part of the AdSense inventory. You're getting it? It doesn't matter where she is. Google knows that she is in the market, and Google will show her an ad from Wilson, who is trying to sell a tennis racket. As simple as that. Okay, so this was interest category matching. Cool. So far, are we okay? Everybody is kind of, all right with what we have discussed so far? Okay, all right. Then the last thing, the second last thing that we have to talk about is, hey, wait, where is some of the stuff that I wrote gone? One sec, guys, one sec. Oh, idhar hai kya? Okay, so that was interest category matching. Then comes demographic targeting. Demographic targeting is where you can target ads to people on the basis of their gender, age group. Okay, so if they're in a certain age group, you can say show my ads to people between 18 to 45 or 18 to 24. So that is demographic targeting. Or you can say show my ads only to women. So that is also a type of targeting that comes under demographic. You can also say parental status. And under parental status also there are different distinctions, like is it a new mother who has just had a baby or just going to become a mother, right? So she's still kind of, in the whole pregnancy stage, or is it a toddler, or is it an infant, or is it the mother of a teenager, and so on and so forth, right? It all depends on the kind of content they are consuming. Now, if you're reading about diapers, it means that your kid is an infant, right? Or a toddler or whatever. But if you're reading about school books, you're reading about syllabus, education, you're reading about, nutrition for school-going children and stuff like that, then that means that your kids are in the age group of maybe 3 to 10 or so. Beyond that, if they're teenagers, how to deal with troubled teens and those kind of things, that's the kind of content you're reading, then you're dealing with teenagers. Or you're reading about further education options, what kind of colleges can they go to, what kind of streams can they look at, what kind of coaching can they go for, etc. On the basis of the kind of content people consume, Google starts allocating them into buckets of demographics. So you can also target people on the demographic of parental status other than gender and age group. Okay, so that's demographic targeting. Demographic targeting, okay so far for everybody? So far so good? Okay, all right. So then we come to the last type, which is remarketing. Okay, now remarketing, since I've been speaking to you guys for a while, I think it'll be nice of you to see a video about remarketing. This is an introduction to remarketing. So quickly see this introductory video. It's 3 minutes 12 seconds. See this video and then come back when you're done. Tell me you're done, and then we'll talk a little bit individually about remarketing. So there you go. I've just pinged the video link in the chat box.
You get a lot of traffic to your website, but what do you do if these users leave your site without making any conversions? Do you know, an average of 96% of new visitors will leave the website without converting, and 45% of users will check more than 2 to 3 websites before deciding to make a purchase. It is great that someone checks your website, but what happens when they leave? What do you do to make sure these visitors come back again? Here we introduce remarketing, an innovative way for you to target potential customers who have already visited your website. So how does it work? AdWords will give you a snippet of code called remarketing tag. Please paste this tag in all the pages on your website, so that when users visit your site, this tag will drop a cookie on their browser history, mark them, and allow them to create a list of potential customers, which we call remarketing list. When the people on your remarketing list leave your website and move on to another site, your remarketing ads will be triggered to follow them, to remind them about your website and products, and eventually lead them back to your site to finish the conversion. Now, let's find out how to set up remarketing. Once you get into your AdWords account, click into Share Library. Under Audiences, click View. You will then be brought to the remarketing setup page. If you haven't set up remarketing before, our system will prompt you to insert an email address where we will email you the remarketing tag. After doing so, you'll be brought to the interface like this. You'll be also able to check the tag details by clicking onto this button and then click Setup and then View Remarketing Tag and Instructions. All you need to do is to add this code to all your web pages right before the Close Body tag here. You may also set up and customize your own remarketing list by clicking onto this button here, where you can also set the rules as well as the membership duration of your customized remarketing list. Once we have accumulated enough members on our remarketing list, we can start off by creating a new display network campaign to target the remarketing list. The setup is very simple. All we need to do is to start off by clicking onto the Display Network tab, under which we select Add New Targeting Method, select the specific ad group that we would like to choose, and under Ad Targeting, we select Interest in Remarketing. You'll be able to see our newly created All Visitors remarketing list under this tab here. All we need to do is just select it, and then select the either the targeted bid or the bid only method to target this remarketing visitors that we have. This is the simple setup of the remarketing list, and hopefully you can actually find it very useful for your campaign. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, everybody's done. Fabulous. Okay, did that make sense to everybody? Is it kind of clear in your head? I'm still going to take you through the process and tell you what exactly. So what if how to okay. Okay. All right. So let's get into remarketing. Now Saida has a question. Saida's question is she has 2-3 different services on her website. So let's say Saida is into insurance, right? And if Saida is into insurance, then there are different types of insurance. There is auto insurance, there's term insurance, there's medical insurance, there's health insurance, then what else is there? There is life insurance. How could I forget that, right? Then there is what else? You could have luggage insurance. Devices also nowadays they can have insurance, right? So cool. So Saida is an insurance company and she has all these. Hey, wow, yeah, travel also. Okay. All right. Hey, luggage and travel is the same, na? Acha, but theek hai, whatever. Theek hai. Okay. So these are all the different services on Saida's website. Okay. Now let's first understand remarketing before we take into consideration what Saida is supposed to do. So remarketing, the process is very simple. In remarketing, the first thing you do is you generate a remarketing tag. Okay. After you've generated this tag, you install this tag on every page of your website. Okay. After you've installed this tag on every single page of your website, you go to your AdWords account. Okay. And in your shared library, there is a place called shared library in your AdWords account. Let me show you where it is. While the AdWords account opens, let's finish writing what we were writing. So you go to your AdWords account and in your shared library, you set up audience lists. Okay. Now, what kind of audience lists can you have? Remember, you have put the tag on each and every page of your website, correct? That's what you have done. Now, what is the process of remarketing technically? Everybody understood the process of remarketing, right? Whenever somebody goes to a website, right? Let's write down that definition actually first. When somebody goes to a website, they are the audience of that website. This much everybody agrees with. When somebody goes to a website, they are the audience of that website. As simple as that, right? They have consumed a part of that website, correct? They have interacted with it in some way. Some of them may have even bought something from that website. Some may have subscribed to a newsletter. Some of them may have downloaded a brochure. Some must have just seen the homepage and seen some products and gone away. Regardless, they are all audiences of that website. Now, if this website has a remarketing tag on it, if all the pages there is a remarketing tag on that website, then what happens is no matter where you have come from, right? You are an audience. Even if you came from an ad, you are an audience. You came from a social link, you came from an email referral, somebody told you, word of mouth, you found it on a search engine, doesn't matter. But you are the audience of that website. Now, if there is a tag on that website, a remarketing tag, what will that tag do? That tag will drop a small piece of code into your browser. This code is called cookie. Okay, it's not an actual chocolate chip cookie, it's just a small piece of code. Okay, and that code will be dropped into your browser. Okay, now what is this cookie going to do? It's just going to sit in your browser, right? And it is going to feed information back to the AdWords account. Okay, so what's going to happen now? Because of this cookie, and because it is, see, this cookie will be able to tell AdWords a few things. It will tell AdWords where you are, okay, on the internet, and it will also tell AdWords which kind of an audience you are. Okay, what does this mean? Which kind of an audience you are? What is this thing? It basically means what was your drop-off point from the website? What part of the website were you becoming an audience of? So when you went to, let's say, let's take an example of Saida's insurance website, right? So the website is www.saidainsurance.com. Okay, this is a fictitious example. Okay, guys, don't actually go and click on that or something. Okay, so this is Saida's website, right? So let's say, I came to this website and I saw the homepage, then I saw the auto insurance section, and then I decided that, okay, fine, it sounds interesting, and then I left. I didn't actually buy the insurance. I just saw it. I just read about it, then I went away. Now, Saida is using remarketing. Now, because Saida is using remarketing, Saida's website has dropped a cookie into my browser, and that browser has told Saida's AdWords account that I saw the auto insurance section and that I am currently on a website. Let's say I am on a website like sanjeevkapoor.com. I'm looking at a recipe for I don't know, paneer pasanda or something. Okay, so I am currently on sanjeevkapoor.com and I have gone to Saida's website and seen the auto insurance section, and then I have left. So the cookie has given this information to the AdWords account. So far, are you with me, all of you? Okay, so this is technically how remarketing is functioning. Now, what is the AdWords account doing in return? Okay, Chitra, I've already made it as simple as possible. Yeah, you forget everything I've said so far. Just remember that I went to Saida's website. I went to Saida's website and I saw the auto insurance section. Okay, and Saida's website has a remarketing tag on it, and that website has dropped a cookie into my browser, and that cookie has communicated with Saida's AdWords account and told the AdWords account that, hey, this person who has had come to the website and seen the auto insurance section is currently on sanjeevkapoor.com on this particular page. So what does the AdWords account do? The AdWords account shows an ad for Saida's auto insurance to me while I am browsing a recipe for paneer pasanda. Okay. Of course, cookie is always active. Cookie is in the browser, no? Cookie is in your browser. Tracking code automatically learns which section of my website they were interested in. Right. Not just interested in, which section of the website they had come to specifically. Okay. So this is how remarketing works. This is how remarketing technically works. I have experienced that a lot actually when I see a display ad that is not related to the website I am in. Yeah, that could be either part of remarketing. It could also be a part of placement targeting, right? Because in placement targeting, there is no necessary logic, right? People might just pick a specific website and that website might be the one that you are on. It could also be interest category, it could be in market, it could be affinity, you don't know. What happens when we block cookies means our info is not passed on. It's so embarrassing when Zivame is remarketing me everywhere. Oh, that's okay, that's all right. I mean, you know, we are women and we use those products, so it's all right. What happens when you block cookies? If you block cookies or if you go incognito, then this will not happen. But very few people actually, how to create a cookie code. Right, I'll tell you all that. Never click back. LOL. Okay, all right. Yeah, well, whatever. See, different people behave differently, right? I have clicked on ads that have been remarketed to me. Okay, great. So I am currently on Sanjeev Kapoor's website. I'm looking at a paneer recipe, but I can see Saida's auto insurance ad. And the reason I'm seeing that ad is because I had gone to her website and I had seen the auto insurance part and then I had left. So this is how remarketing technically works. Sometimes it will become even more specific. I might see a specific product that I had seen and I had clicked on that product and put it in my cart, but then I didn't convert. I left and I went away. That also happens, right? A lot of you, do you do that? You add products to your cart, but then you don't convert. Has that happened? Right? Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So when is this happening? You have added product to your cart, but you have not converted. You have abandoned it and you have left. Even then you might get chased by that specific product. And sometimes they will also give you an incentive. They'll say take 10% off, apply this coupon and get flat 5% off, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So all of those are remarketing ads. They are targeting you specifically via your browser because there is a cookie from that particular AdWords account in your browser. Okay. All right. So how do you set up remarketing? It's fairly simple. Okay. You have to go to your AdWords account and you have to generate a remarketing tag. Okay. Once you have got the tag, you install that tag on every page of your website. Then you go to your AdWords account and in the shared library, you set up audience lists. You can specify different audience lists. You can create a list of people who went to your homepage. Okay. Then you can create a list of people who saw certain products. You can create a list of people who added products to cart. Okay, you can create a list of people who saw the thank you page, which means they must have converted, and only then you can see the thank you page, right? What is the thank you page? It says thank you for shopping with us. Your product will be delivered by so and so date, whatever. Okay, so the only people who see that page are the people who have actually paid money, so they have already shopped, they have transacted. So you can also create a list for those people, correct? So all of these different lists that you create, these lists are URL based. So you say people who saw this URL, the thank you page URL, are people who have already converted. People who have seen the URL of www.whatever.com/add to cart/.whatever.php. Those people are people who have added products to cart. Okay. So on the basis of URL parameters, you can actually create separate audience lists. And then later on, once these audience lists are ready and prepared, you can set up a display campaign. Okay, and what will you target? You will target the audience list of your choice. Okay, you will target the audience list of your choice and then you will set up your ads. So who will see those ads? Only those people who are part of that audience list. So if I create a campaign and I say show these ads only to the people who saw the added to cart page, then only those people will see those ads. So all of you people who have added products to cart but you have not actually checked out, you have not actually paid the money, you have not seen the thank you page, you will see the ad because you are part of that audience list and you are being targeted in that display campaign. Okay, is putting this tag process very complicated? Not at all. It's a very simple process. So that is the first thing that I'm going to put in the reading list, how to set up a simple remarketing campaign. Okay, so that's going to be part of your reading list. Let's go and write it down. Setting up your first remarketing campaign and creating your audience list. Okay, I'm also going to send you a list, a small article on adding the remarketing tag to your website. Okay, so I'll send you this also. There's Digital Vidya retargeted me. That's the reason you're in this class. Wow, Vikas, that's a fabulous example. Yeah, so cool. If the website is WordPress and there is a way to add the tracking code like analytics, sorry for being insane. No, of course not. Yeah, come on, Saita. That's a good question. Yes, you can. Even if your website is hosted on WordPress or Blogger or whatever, even then you can add a remarketing tag. No problem. You just have to know where exactly to add it. And instructions for doing that are available on the Google AdWords Help Center, and I will be sending you those links. Don't worry. Of course, yes, Vikas, WordPress, Blogger, all of them. Doesn't matter. As long as it is hosted somewhere, you can tag it. No problem. It's a very simple process. Okay? So I'll send you all the information on setting up of a remarketing tag, on creating audience lists, and setting up a remarketing campaign in your reading list. How we charged on the basis of remarketing depends, na. If you are remarketing, then you're trying to get people to come back to your website, right? You want them to come back and take some kind of an action. So you can do a CPC bidding. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Arey Biku, I know, yeah. Just chill. Don't worry. I mean, I'm keeping time a lot more aggressively than you are. I've been doing this for 2 years now. So don't worry. I'm not going to eat into your break time. Okay? Alright, so it depends on how you're bidding. If you're using CPC bidding, then CPC ke hisab se you'll get charged. If you're using something else, then on the basis. But mostly it is CPC bidding, right? Because when you do remarketing, you want people to come back to your website and finish a certain action. Correct? So that's the whole goal of it. Cool. Okay. So guys, break time. Take a break. Come back at 12 o'clock and then we'll resume our discussion. We have finished talking about all the targeting types. So we'll get straight into what ad formats are there, display planner, ad gallery, and conversions. Take a break. Come back at 12.